Travel can be stressful, but Joe Megabo from Expedia is trying to make it a little less so, and he's using a lot of analytics.
So, I mean, we're now closing in on 16 years old. So I mean, it's an old school, if you can say that, internet site, and our platform reflects that. As there's a lot of stuff we've had for many years that you don't see much anymore, and there's other stuff where we're doing very new and innovative work as we continue to evolve the site and the platform. Data side, we use everything from big data systems to traditional data warehousing to a variety of statistical modeling and BI tools. We've got you name it. We've got some version of it. As a both direct response, e-commerce, transactional, predominantly online company. I mean, we're all about data. I mean, it's the bread and butter of our business, and I kind of feel like it's a moral imperative for a company like ours to get this right. I mean, we're just so well positioned for it, and we put a lot of energy behind it.
How have you expanded the use of analytics in the past several years?
It's actually become really the fabric of almost everything we do now. We hooked on probably 5-6 years ago. We started to realize just the power of focusing on conversion, which at its core is a very simple metric. I mean, you could say it's something as simple as how many people come to my site versus how many people buy. But it gets more complicated than that, both because even just frankly defining the definition of those things. What's a visitor? Is it someone who hits the homepage and leaves? Do they have to actually engage in my site? If they're looking for jobs, does that count? I mean, so what do you call the base? And then even what's a transaction, which sounds like it'd be simple, but in our world, if I in the same session book 2 different trips, is that 1 transaction or 2 transactions? And these things can dramatically affect conversion rates. So even just defining these things turned out to be more complicated, especially given lots of different groups have different definitions of conversion, and then you're doing apples to oranges comparison on investment decisions. So part of it was just realizing we had to get sort of a central version of the truth and get all the data consistently defined and be able to actually make intelligent decisions across the organization. But the other thing we realized is there's just a lot of effort on identifying what we would call sources of friction. Just how do you find anywhere a consumer, they're coming to our site, they're interested in travel, they have questions that they want answers to. How do we make sure that they're getting those answers, and if they are someone who in that session wants to transact, that it's going to be as super simple, amazingly easy as possible to get through the path. And there are lots and lots and lots of reasons why that can be difficult, and many times it's us doing it to ourselves. It's really easy to sort of build an internal case to say, hey, if we had a little more data from the customer, we could better service them, we could give them better information, we could better target or personalize. So you ask a little bit more, and you ask a little bit more. And over time, you start putting a lot of what ultimately become roadblocks for the customer, because not all customers want to answer those questions, and not all customers care. So there's this give and take of how do you manage collection of information versus is it actually creating a consumer value? And we've been, our CEO says, maniacally focused on conversion, which means, frankly, if it's not adding consumer value, if it's not pulling people through the site, get rid of it. And analytics has been at the core of identifying where are those sources of friction. When we make changes, does it actually realize value? And ultimately, it means we are actually servicing our customers by doing less, by making sure we make it as easy and as simple as possible. And if consumers find it easy, they buy more, and the more they buy, the more data we have, and we earn the right to get that data we need to segment and target and analyze, as opposed to creating roadblocks.